Hello and welcome to Study with Sudhir. We are talking about the English Literature Examination for Class 10 students of the ICSE board, and with me is Vice Principal of the Hyderabad Public School, this is Amrita Chandra, Master of Venice and the Treasure Trove, Poems and Stories. But the biggest concern with most subjects, especially English literature, is to do with keywords. ये keywords का क्या करें? Which are the keywords from every poem? Let's take MOV for example. What kind of keywords would the evaluator would be looking at when he or she is checking the answer script?
Let's say you're doing there's a question, there's an extract from Act 4 of Merchant of Venice.
The trial scene.
Right? The trial scene, which we do tell children, it will come in one which way or the other. Now, the Duke has something to say of Shylock. He says that he's an inhuman wretch, a stony adversary, incapable of pity, and void and empty. Now, all of this has a synonymical value. Everything can be explained in one which way or the other. But the perception of the interpretation can cause some damage to the child. So it's always advisable to stick to these words. Not that we ask them to learn them by rote or memorize them blindly, but close reference to the text is advised, because last year, when they have separated English 1 and 2 and giving them as two separate entities on the marks memo, children have got as much as 100 on 100 in paper 2. And this happens when you are honest to the text. So a close reference to the text as far as key terms are concerned, especially in describing a character, describing an emotion, it is always safer to fall back on the text.
When you're talking about the poems and stories as well as Merchant of Venice, it's always better that you quote from the text.
Yes.
You have a better chance of ensuring that you have the keywords as part of your answer.
Yes.
Right?
Now let's say Daffodils, which is one of the poems that could be asked this year.
Okay.
Now, what mood was the poet in? Now, you can say sad, you can say vacant, you can say a whole lot of things. But the poet himself says, I was in a pensive mood. So, it's better you know the word pensive than its equivalent. That's all we are saying. Sad explains pensive, reflective explains pensive, thoughtful explains pensive. But nothing explains pensive like pensive. So, that's why we insist on that keyword being used.
What are the common mistakes that students make as far as the English literature exam is concerned?
Now, the common mistake they make is that they beat around the bush. They do not answer the question to the point. This is very scientific, paper 2. They are expecting one particular answer and you give it. They are not bothered about your sentence construction. They want to know whether you are familiar with the text. Now, when you blabber, when you beat around the bush, when you try to gas yourself through an answer, then they know that you're not very honest to the text. Therein you lose marks. If you write the answer in one line but to the point, that's all that they're looking for. The name is English literature, but they're not looking for great creativity in paper 2. All your creativity is reserved for paper 1. Paper 2 is factual, it is realistic and honest to the text.
And as far as analysis, for instance, in poems like The Cold Within or The Caged Bird Sings, there is a certain kind of lot of metaphors which are there. There is a certain kind of analysis that you can indulge in.
Yes.
Is that something again which the students should take care about?
Yes. Now, at ICSE level, unlike the ISC level, they stick to the basic framework and structure of the poem. But if the cold within refers to a metamorphical cold within, then the child must understand that it's about the inhumanity, it's about the cold brick-like people we have become, not being able to share what is there to be shared. So these symbolic significances, the metaphorical perceptions are to be understood by the child, but you don't have to go beyond the framework of the poem. They largely stick to the text.
The other thing is that students normally ask again is which is more scoring, poems or stories or a movie, and I say there is no rule like that. It could be any of the three,
Yes.
provided you do them well. That's the way the board looks at it, right?
Yes. Of late, they have started one 8 plus 4 plus 4 question.
Especially in stories.
Especially in stories. Now, a 16 marks essay is more comprehensive. What I found with the 8 plus 4 is it's very specific. Unless you're very sure about the content of that particular question that you're attempting, don't be in a hurry to do these, because the division in an 8 plus 4 is very, very precise. Whereas 16, it's more spread out. So you're safer. So provided you know it well, any question can be attempted. If you don't know it well, then you should be clever in choosing what can get you more marks. At least a well-defined summary with a few inputs can still get you a 10 or a 12 on 16. Whereas an 8 plus 4 plus 4, you could end up with an 8. So there you have to make your choices wisely. Otherwise, the board per se, the council evaluation scheme per se, the marking scheme per se, very fair to all the questions.
And they generally, students should go in order. I mean, they start with MOV and then go to poems and stories, or it could be any of the 5.
It is one from each of the sections prescribed.
Yes.
So one from MOV, one from poetry, one from prose, and 2 from anywhere else.
Yeah.
Let us say there is somebody who wants to do 3 from one poems or whatever, and only one. There is no chronological order for English. You can do anything you want. Only thing, once you start an extract, don't say question 5 found at the page 15 of the answer scripts like a traffic policeman or like a traffic diversion. Don't say take that route. Do not do that. Answer all the segments. If you do not know one bit or subpart, leave place for that subpart, finish the others and come back to that subpart. But don't answer the subpart anywhere else. Though it's very pupil friendly, we go there, correct it and add it to the mark. But it's not advisable that you take that approach to answering a paper. No need of any order.
Right. Thank you very much for these tips. I'm sure the students are going to find this very useful, and a hectic kind of season is ahead of all of us.
God bless all of them. All the best.
Thank you very much.